Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time and welcome to my channel. I appreciate you being a viewer, I appreciate you being a subscriber, and my goal is to present you accurate information during these rather unusual times that we live in. The President and the First Lady of the United States have been diagnosed with the illness, and we wish them well. We wish them a speedy recovery because we want things to be able. We want the President to recover and the First Lady to recover. In this video, I'm going to give you the latest information and the latest comments from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She was just interviewed this morning. She was asked about her reaction to the President's diagnosis. She was asked to comment on stimulus negotiations. So I'll talk to you about that as well. But first, let me give you a sense of where things stand in the country right now. As you know, early voting has already begun across the country, and essentially we have an election underway. But at the same time, individuals across the country are actually going hungry. 1 in 8 Americans are now hungry, and I've actually done another video about this, but I think nothing summarizes the entire situation better than this tweet that you see on your screen right now. And this is a tweet from Sawyer Hackett, who's a senior advisor to Julian Castro, who actually ran for president, and he's the former secretary of HUD, and he is the mayor of San Antonio. He's a member of the Democratic Party, and he was in fact the youngest member of President Obama's cabinet. And as you can see on your screen, this essentially reflects that as voting is going on in the country simultaneously, people need food to eat. This is the day and age that we are living in. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Thank you so much for being a viewer and subscriber. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. I'm American first. You're American first. This is a time when we all need to come together, when we all need to try and help each other, and where we all need to learn lessons from this situation moving forward. In fact, speaking of lessons, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was interviewed just a couple of hours ago, and I'm going to break down that interview for you right here. And I'll also give you the latest status of the stimulus negotiation. So make sure you watch this video all the way through to the end. And I'll also show you a clip of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi talking about this. So Speaker Pelosi said, "I know that the president will have the best of care, and that's what we want for everyone in our country. We must have testing, tracing, and treatment. We must wear masks. We must have sanitation because it will crush the pandemic and stop the spread. The president, with all his protection, got this exposure, which is tragic and sad, but going into crowds unmasked was a brazen invitation for something like this to happen." Now, the president has been doing rallies, and the president has indeed done some indoor rallies. This is a fact. The president has done outdoor rallies as well, but the president has actually done indoor rallies. And the House Speaker said, hopefully, this will be a transition to a saner approach to this situation. When she was specifically asked about who's next in line, when she was asked about the transition of power, she said she didn't really want to talk about that too much, but she did say that this is an ongoing discussion with the military. So it sounds like the military has actually talked to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi about succession, but she did say, let us all pray for the president's health. This is what House Speaker Pelosi said. "Thank God the vice president has tested negative. Continuity of the government is in place." When asked to discuss the stimulus package, she said, "People of color and minority communities have been disproportionately impacted by this. Let's understand that every diagnosis is important. I have been tested this morning," meaning House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and she said she's currently waiting for results. So that is actually what is going on right now. In fact, let's take a look at a segment of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi discussing all this. Let's roll the tape and hear directly from the House Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I can only imagine what a busy morning you're having. Thank you for joining us. I want to start with your reaction to the news that the President and the First Lady have tested positive for coronavirus.
Well, of course, as with everyone, we all receive that news with great sadness. I always pray for the president and his family that they're safe. I continue to do so more intensified. And I know that he'll have the best of care. And that's what we want for everyone in our country. I hope this will be a moment where people will understand that what we have in our Heroes Bill and have had in our conversations over and over is we must have testing, tracing, treatment. We must have spatial distancing. We must be wearing our masks. We must have sanitation because it can help crush the virus and stop the spread. So maybe now that people who see the President of the United States with all the protection that he has and the First Lady still having this exposure, it might be, as you say, a learning experience. But more than learning, it has to be something that is acted upon. This is tragic. It's very sad. But it also is something that going into crowds, unmasked and all the rest was sort of a brazen invitation for something like this to happen. It's sad that it did, but nonetheless hopeful that it will be a transition to a saner approach to what this virus is all about.
I want to talk about the Heroes Bill in a moment, but this is a very serious health threat. You are second in line for the presidency. Has the White House contacted you about the continuity of government?
No, they haven't, but that is an ongoing, not with the White House, but with the military, quite frankly, in terms of some officials in the government. But let us just all pray for the president's health. Thank God the vice president has tested negatively, and the second lady as well. So again, that continuity of government is always in place. I always say it's a relic of the past, but nonetheless, they say we have our job we have to do, and this is what we'll do. So I wouldn't go so much to that, but I do think that it is really important for people to know that every infection is a sad one. The President of the United States, of course, but every single one. Now we've gone over in such a high number in our country of infections, every one of them a sad occasion. Over 209,000 deaths, a tragedy beyond even comprehension 1 year ago, and still more to come. But maybe this will be the moment where people will say, okay, mask, distance, sanitation, tracing, treatment, and also recognizing that many people in the minority community, people of color, disproportionately affected by this, people in the Native American community, very, very disproportionately affected by this. So let's understand the diagnosis that our country has had at the highest level and recognize that every life, every diagnosis is important to us. And the health needs,
Dr. Zeke,
having the treatment is very important. We're glad the president has it. We want it for everyone. That's in our bill.
So there you have it, everybody. That is the latest information from House Speaker Pelosi. I will dig deeper into her comments about the stimulus package, but I will tell you that there are rumblings now emerging in DC amongst the Republicans that they are starting to get very nervous about the contours of a deal between House Speaker Pelosi and between the U.S. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, because they had inserted White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows as a counterbalance so that essentially the deal would not get too big. But now the rules of the game have changed. In fact, House Speaker Pelosi specifically said, I quote, "This changes the dynamic of the stimulus negotiations." We'll find out more information in the next few hours, and you can be sure I'll report it to you without any hype, without any clickbait, and I'll give you information that you need to know, and that is my promise to you. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. If you don't know anything about me, check out my video. I have the fortune, the honor, the privilege of living the American dream. I will help you live the American dream. I'm inviting you to subscribe to our channel, also to enable notifications so that you can get instant alerts from us going forward. So please make sure you subscribe, you enable notifications. If you learn something new, I ask for you to like or to enable subscribe and enable notifications. That is your vote of confidence in me and my team. Conservatives, Republicans are now starting to get very nervous about the dynamics of a deal between U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell will most likely support a testing program in the Capitol now. And the Senate Majority Leader just said, and by the way, you'll see the tweet from the Senate Majority Leader on your screen right now. This is a tweet from Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. He said, "Just finished a great phone call with POTUS. He's in good spirits and we talked business, especially how impressed senators are with the qualifications of Judge Barrett. Full steam ahead with the fair, thorough, timely process that the nominee, the court, and the country deserve." So clearly, the nomination of the filling of the SCOTUS vacancy is a high priority for the Republicans, and the stimulus negotiations will continue because House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and U.S. Treasury Steve Mnuchin are still talking. Let me be clear about that. This is a tweet on your screen from Jason Furman, who's a former President Obama senior economist. He said, Secretary Mnuchin's offer is much better than nothing. $400 a week unemployment insurance extension more than replaces wages for 2/3 of workers. $400 billion for state and local is decent given the latest shortfall estimate. So I hope the two sides can come closer, because the last thing the country needs right now is for a breakdown, is for a failure in stimulus negotiations now that we have the president, getting infected with the virus. And as we speak, White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is outside the White House, and he said, by the way, he was not wearing a mask. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows was not wearing a mask. He said, and I quote, "What you have is a virus that is contagious. Even with that wide circle around the president, we're finding that he's having to deal with this like so many other millions of Americans." Meadows did say that he expects more White House staff to contract the virus. He said, I quote, "I fully expect that as this virus continues to go on, other people in the White House will certainly have a positive test results." And so while he was talking to reporters, you'll see a tweet on your screen from Jim Acosta. This is a picture of White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows speaking with reporters. Minutes ago, he was not wearing a mask. I repeat, he was not wearing a mask. Here's another tweet on your screen from Ali Malloy, CNN. And she said, the advisor to the president on this illness is not wearing a mask. He is the advisor to the President of the United States. His name is Scott Atlas, not wearing a mask at the White House the day the President of the United States test positive. This is a tweet on your screen from Ali Malloy. She retweeted what Jim Acosta tweeted, and this is quite astonishing. And here are some comments, and you'll see a tweet on your screen from Jeff Stein. Here's a comment from a senior Trump official, Larry Kudlow, reacting to today's jobs report. He said, "It's better than you think, and car sales are booming this morning." Okay, I guess car sales are important at a time of national crisis, but Larry Kudlow is an interesting character. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said, "I never thought a year ago I'd say I was proud to have an unemployment rate below 8%, but I really am." This is a comment from U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin. And that is where things stand right now. Here's another tweet on your screen from Jeff Stein from the Washington Post. Larry Kudlow said today, "I spoke to the president last night. He didn't sound bad after a long day, but whatever. I have been told secondhand this situation is light on the virus." He's a strong man. You know that. He's a very strong man. That's what we have, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. Let me know what you thought of this report in the comments section below. Please share this video with friends and family members. That is your support for us and for our channel and all the work that we put in. A ton of work goes into these videos, all the graphics that you see on your screen, trying to collate all the information, the relevant information in real time, and keeping it balanced as opposed to taking sides. For me, it's not about the red or the blue. It's about the red, white, and blue. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm American. I encourage you to remain calm and to comfort others, because this is not the time for partisan bickering. This is the time for bipartisan agreement, and this is the time for a stimulus package to indeed come through. I'll be doing more detailed videos about this in the next few hours. So please subscribe. Please enable notifications. If you learned something new from this video, please click like. Thank you so much. You can, if you want to get SMS alerts from us, get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000. That's 70000. You can get added to our SMS alerts list. You can also, if you want, get added to our email list. Go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. That's ignitiontime.com/alerts. You'll get added to our email list. So make sure you do that. And also, if you want, you can bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. This way, you don't have to depend on alerts from YouTube. You can simply go to the homepage of our channel, and then you can get alerts. You can see our latest videos directly on the homepage of our channel. You can follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You can also follow us on Twitter for breaking news and alerts on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week, except in situations like this where the alerts are so time sensitive that we get them out to you as quickly as possible. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We live in unusual times. We live in a situation where the president contracted this virus. We live in a situation where 1 in 8 Americans are going hungry. We live in an ironic situation where White House advisors say some rather unusual things. I'll leave it at that. And we also live in a climate where senior advisors on the illness, the White House Chief of Staff and senior advisors on the pandemic, like Scott Atlas for the president, are walking around the day the president contracted the virus, not wearing masks. That's where we stand right now, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you. Bye.